Let's just start with the play that ended up getting Kenny Pickett hurt. Now apparently he's fine. He said they'll play on Sunday against the Ravens, which is great. So we avoided disaster with that. But I've never. This is the first time, at least in my recollection, that a Mike Tomlin team quit on him. At least his defense quit on him after this play where he got hurt. Team quit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful day outside. Beautiful day to discuss other people's excellence. I'm the upper better one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll. Charles is usually daydreaming, but he had a little bit of a family emergency, so we're gonna do this by ourselves this week. He'll be back next week. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you. I came home to some chaos myself, and I was sitting there like, you know what, screw it. But I didn't want. We definitely want to try to do a weekly pod this year, and I definitely didn't want us to skip a week in which both our teams had humiliating losses, because I don't want to hear nothing about y'all saying we duck and smoke. All right, we the dope blow. We too dope to duck smoke. All right, so we gonna do it. We gonna press on. It's fine because I didn't really have a slide for the Giants on this one anyway, so we can talk about his Giants when he comes back. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, we gonna press on. I'm exhausted. I just came back from one of them Jill Scotts, one of them long walks. It's a beautiful day outside, trying to lose some weight. Just showered and everything. So I'm just like, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna have fun. All right. Oh, by the way, before I get started, we're also not gonna talk about the Jets Kansas City game. I'll be the first to admit, after the embarrassment of the Steelers game, I went and got dinner with my dad, and then I was just footballed out the rest of the day. And so I missed the whole game. I know apparently Zach Wilson had a great game. Apparently it was a really good game. It was a close game. Apparently there was some controversial calls. Apparently this Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift thing is not going away anytime soon. That's the best I got out of that game, but I don't even think I saw highlights of the game. So I have no comment on that game in particular. Uh so yeah, just fair warning that might have been the game of the week, but I didn't have anything for that for the slide. But all the other stuff we're gonna talk about. Including this game. This was the game I had circled. This is gonna be a big game. We've been giving the Dolphins their praise all year. Um, and you know, Dolphins fans been begging us to talk about them. And guess what? When we talk about them when they win, we gotta talk about them when they lose. And the Bills handled business today or Sunday. Um, you know, they did what they had to do, and they reminded everybody that the AFC East still runs through them. And this was the game that I had circled because this was going to be an important matchup. Are the Dolphins the new kings of the division, or is it still Buffalo? Round one goes to Buffalo. Now, obviously, they'll play each other again, and hopefully, uh, they will, play each other a third time in the playoffs, assuming both make it. But you know, round one goes to Buffalo, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. They put a beat down on them. I just don't understand if you're the Dolphins how you score 70 points one week and give up 50 the next. That don't even make no sense. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen that before. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in Miami. I was, whether Buffalo won or not was not the issue. The fact that it was close early and then Buffalo just ran away with it the rest of the game was a little surprising and a little disappointing. I expected more from Miami, especially on the road. You want to show them that you're for real. But again, when a rematch comes in Miami, I'm gonna circle it. I'm gonna watch it because these two teams are exciting to watch, and I hope they stay healthy throughout the year. I know Tre'Davious White, popped his Achilles during the game, so that sucks. But hopefully, no more major injuries to either one of those teams because these have been two of the most exciting teams in the AFC, if not the whole NFL this year so far. So I want to see them. I want to see that cage match. It's going to be interesting. Um, yeah, let's talk about that. Um, I wasn't going to talk about this a lot. Uh, not much to say. I guess let's start with let's just start with the play that ended up getting Kenny Pickett hurt. Now apparently he's fine. He said they'll play on Sunday against the Ravens, which is great. So we avoided disaster with that. But I've never. This is the first time, at least in my recollection, that a Mike Tomlin team quit on him. At least his defense quit on him after this play where he got hurt. Team quit. You see it, 16-6, third quarter, 110 left to go. Only a 10-point game. And this is why I said Mike Tomlin and the Steelers had to get rid of Matt Canada because this team is, you can tell they're done. They're just done. This is how bad it was, right? TJ Watt had a bad game and he admitted he had a bad game, whatever. After the press conference, mind you, they're in Houston. JJ Watt, his older brother, was put in the Ring of Honor that day. It was supposed to be a celebration, right? They asked him about it after the game. And he was like, yeah, it's cool. Good for him. You know, he got the ovation. He deserves it. He got the ovation he deserved. And that was kind of it. Now, if you know anything about TJ and JJ and Derek, they love each other. They are the biggest cheerleaders for each other. You know, they are brothers, 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 right? So do you know how pissed off you gotta be? Somebody's asking you about one of the greatest moments of your brother's career, somebody that's your older brother that you admire, that you look up to, and you don't even have the emotional energy to give to answer that question. Now, I'm sure if they went out after the game and celebrated, I'm sure once he stopped thinking about the game, he was back and energetic and there for his brother, and it's all about JJ. But do you know how mad he was that in that moment he couldn't even like bring himself to be happy for his brother in that, again, just in that moment, not overall, but in that moment. That can't happen, man. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. And it's one of those things, and like I said last week, the problem is this offense is so bad. It's not just one person, but until they make changes, we're not going to be able to solve any of these problems. We're not going to be able to diagnose the real problem. Because let's talk about the play. It's 4th and 1. And for those who didn't see the game, our offense was horrible all game. However, that drive, we were running it on them. Najee Harris had his best game of the year, right? He was running with power and with enthusiasm. He just had juice that day. He was just looking. I don't know what was going on, but he was playing with a different type of energy that day. We're running all over him. It's 4th and 1. You would think we would run the ball if we're gonna go for it. Nope, we didn't. Shotgun, no play action, throwing the ball. Like I said before, and I've been saying for the third week now, we are statistically the most predictable offense in football. That's not hyperbole. There are literal facts and numbers that prove how predictable we are. If we're in shotgun, we're throwing it 80% of the time. If we're under center, we're running it 90% of the time. We use motion the least amount of time in the NFL. We use play action one of the least amount of times in the NFL. We are literally telling the defense what we're doing every time we line up. So on 4th and 1, you're not under center. You're in shotgun, no play action. Everybody knows you're throwing the ball. It's a bad play call. It's just a bad play call. Now, on the other hand, Matt Canada will say, well, hold on. Watch the play again. 2 people were open. And he'd be right. 2 people were open. And Kenny Pickett, and this is where he needs to get better, had happy feet. He had a clean pocket. He rolled out of the pocket right into where the defender was because Broderick Jones was doing a good job of pushing the defender upwards. He rolled right into the defender who grabbed him, took him down, and he went down awkwardly on that knee. And again, thank God it's not a devastating injury. But that was the game. That was the game. If they get the first down there and score, either whether a field goal or a touchdown, it's a one-score game. The defense has stopped Houston's offense like 4 or 5 straight possessions or something like that. But once that happened, and at the time it looked bad because obviously it was a knee injury. Once that happened and it looked like Kenny Pickett, and we knew Kenny Pickett was out for the rest of the game, defense just quit. The defense was just like, yeah, it's over. I've never seen that from a Mike Tomlin team where they just quit, especially on defense. But that's the point. It's bad play designs and play calls from the offensive coordinator, plus a young quarterback still making the same mistakes that we've been seeing since college. That was an issue in college. That was an issue in his regular season last year. We thought he had cleaned it up during the preseason. He was looking good in the preseason. He was staying in the pocket. He was going through his progressions. He was doing all those things. But ever since the games counted, for some reason, he went right back to his regular scheduled program, where if he doesn't like his first read, he is happy feet and scrambles out of pocket. And again, I'm going to continue to say, I know we don't have the greatest offensive line, and we continue to need to improve our offensive line. But a lot of those sacks are on Kenny because he does stuff like that. I've seen that multiple times. I was like, well, I mean, he had a clean pocket. He's the one that escaped too early and escaped right into where the defender was. If he would have stayed in the pocket, he would have been good, or at least just stepped up in the pocket instead of trying to roll out. I've seen that multiple times. Again, I'm not defending our offensive line. Our offensive line is trash. Okay, and we definitely can't run block to save our lives. But in pass protection, there are times where it's definitely not the O line. It is definitely Kenny Pickett, and not like trusting his line enough that they're giving him a pocket for 3 seconds. In the NFL, that's all you're gonna get is 3 seconds, bro. You got to make a decision, but you can't say one Mississippi, oh, I'm out. You got to at least trust that you're going to get those 3 seconds before that internal clock in your head starts to go off. And so, that play was on him because he did have 2 guys open. If he would have waited just another second, Najee Harris was open underneath, so he could have just dumped it to him, and he would have got a first down. And if he would have waited another second, Allen Robinson was open over the middle, and he could have gave it to him, and he would have had the first down. And again, who knows if we would have scored or not? Obviously, we don't know what would have happened the rest of the game. But that was the turning point of the game. That was it. That was the game right there. And so I said it before, you have to get rid of Matt Canada because you still don't even know what you have in Kenny Pickett. Because there are still things that he's doing wrong. There's still things George Pickens is getting wrong. Y'all know I love me some George Pickens, but George Pickens don't be running his routes at full speed. Bro, it don't matter if you have 4.3 speed if you're jogging at a 4.7 pace. Anybody in the NFL can cover you if you're only going at a 4.7 pace, bro. What makes you so great is not just the spectacular catches you can make, but the fact that you have the size with the speed. If you're not utilizing that, if you're not running your routes at the fast as you can and as decisive as you can, as clean as you can to get yourself open to help your quarterback. And we understand it's an immaturity thing. He definitely, especially like later in the game when he's not getting the ball, you definitely just see him just going through the motions on the routes. But again, offensive coordinator, if you know that, why don't you call up more plays to get him going early so he's more engaged? And we don't play to our strengths. Pat Freiermuth, we keep trying to use him as like an inline tight end. That's not his game. He's not big enough. He's not strong enough. He needs to be out wide. He needs to be used in mismatch positions where he can take advantage of his size and speed as a receiver. But again, we don't do that with our offense coordinator. So until you replace your offense coordinator and get somebody that's going to utilize the strengths of your football team and the strengths of the talent we have on offense, you still can't evaluate these guys fairly because you don't know. Obviously, nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Everybody's going to do stuff. But if you don't know, if you have so many questions about your offense coordinator, and you still have questions here, and you can't figure out which one is more to blame, you have a problem. You got to change one so you can evaluate the other. And the reason why we're saying Matt Canada is because Matt Canada is on his 3rd quarterback now. He had every excuse in the world before when it was Big Ben, with his noodle arm after the surgery. And he had every excuse last year. Well, it was Mr. Trubisky and Kenny Pickett in his rookie year. Okay, well now Kenny Pickett in his second year. And as you know, in today's NFL, we expect results early. So you're on your third quarterback, bro. You're in your third year. And the offense is getting worse, not better. So your evaluation is done in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, because at the end of the day, even if you're right, and even if you're telling me the level of quarterbacks you had hasn't been great, it's obvious. Okay, you might not be the problem, but you're definitely not the solution. Because at best, all you do is keep a quarterback where he is. That's what you do at best. You don't make him better at all. You keep him where he is, and that's at best. And at worst, you're making them worse. And something tells me you have been making these quarterbacks worse. So he's got to go. The Steelers and Mike Tomlin have to get out of their old ways. And that's what I've been saying for the last couple of years. And Charles keeps making the joke, "Oh, fire him so we can get him." I'm like, bro, I don't want Mike Tomlin to be fired. I want him to change. I want them to stop. They keep saying the standard is the standard. Is the standard really 9-8? Is the standard really mediocrity? Is that what we are now as the Steelers organization? This isn't Rutgers. If you were to tell me Rutgers would be 7-6 for the next 5 years, I'd take that. Because Rutgers, I'm used to Rutgers being 3-9 every year. I'll take 7-6 for a couple years. If you tell Ohio State they're going to be 7-6 for the next 5 years, they're going to say fire the coach and fire the AD. There's a difference, bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like, they got to be better, man. Because this is ridiculous. And I want to give props to Houston, and I'll talk about Houston in a different slide. But yeah, stereotypical Steelers, man. I'm not surprised at all we lost the game because this is what we do. We play down to our competition. It's Ravens week. I tell you, there's a formula when you look at the Steelers schedule. You see how many wins they should have. You always -2 because we always lose 2 games we have no business losing. And you could generally tell which 2 they're going to be because it's usually around the Ravens. If we play a bad team before or after Ravens week, you could almost check it off that that's going to be a loss. And it used to be the Patriots as well with Tom Brady. If we play a bad team before or after Patriots week, you could check it off because it's almost like we always look ahead, or if it's the other way around, to focus solely on the Patriots or the Ravens. It can't happen. You lost to a rookie quarterback and you made him look like Peyton Manning out there, bro. I mean, and I know he's off to a historic start for a rookie, but still, man, you made him look like it's just, and well, not just a rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach and a rookie offensive coordinator. It's I don't know. I just don't know. He's losing that locker room. And the moment you lose your locker room, I'm sorry, Mike, you got to go. I love you, bro. I really do. And I love what you represent in terms of black coaches in the NFL. But enough is enough, bro. If you're not gonna make the changes necessary to fix this, then the change has to be you. Then I hate to say it, but that's just what it is. All right. Speaking of CJ Stroud, he has been cooking with gas, with coconut oil, with butter, with whatever you cook with. That's what he's been cooking with. He's been amazing. He looked amazing against us. I told somebody in my fantasy team to pick. I forgot. He said Stroud or Daniel Jones. I said go with Daniel Jones because I figure rookie quarterback against our defense, we're gonna sack him all day long, all game long. Man, not only did we not get a sack, we didn't even touch that brother. I think he walked off the field with a clean jersey on, as if he didn't even play. I don't even think he needed to shower after the game. We didn't touch him. I mean, he lit us up, which is insane to think of a Mike Tomlin led defense getting lit up by a rookie. This ain't Tom Brady. This ain't Patrick Mahomes. Mike Tomlin has been criticized for getting lit up by all the elite quarterbacks, right? We can feast on the mediocre to bad quarterbacks, but we get lit up by the good quarterbacks. We don't ever get lit up by rookies. He lit us up. Houston better be. Houston seems to be in good hands. They look like they finally got it together. They got a nice, good head coach, nice young rookie quarterback. Will Anderson's been looking good. They look like they're on the come up. They look like they're going to be a dangerous team for years to come. Meanwhile, the Carolina Panthers are 0-4, and they look like they might be the worst. Well, no, the Bears and the Broncos look like they might be the worst teams in the NFL, but the Panthers ain't too far behind. They're not too far behind. Bryce Young doesn't look good. Yeah, he doesn't look good at all. I get it. The playmakers are on, and this is what I said, and I said this maybe a couple pods ago, and I said it during the draft. This is why you don't trade up for the number one pick in the draft. And when you did trade up for the number one pick in the draft, I said take CJ Stroud. I feel like they compounded a mistake with a mistake. You went from 9-1 and gave up a whole lot, including DJ Moore. So now you need receivers because your receiving room is god awful. And then you got Bryce Young knowing that his height might be an issue, knowing that he didn't possess some of the elite NFL stuff that you're looking for. And CJ Stroud kind of did, and it was weird. And mind you, if anybody knows me, knows I do not trust Ohio State quarterbacks. But he made more sense to me than Bryce Young because Stroud seemed to do the things that Frank Wright liked as a coach. So I'm surprised that he didn't go that route. I'm surprised if the owner gave you the green light to go up and to go up and trade for the number one pick, he didn't also give you the green light to pick the quarterback you want. And we were hearing rumors about that. We were hearing rumors that the owner wanted Bryce Young versus what the coaching staff wanted. And it's like, well, that's a problem too, organizationally, if you're trading up for number one and y'all not even on the same page of who you're trading up to get. Yikes. Yeah, I don't know. It's only 4 weeks. And it's sad because these two guys are going to be compared to each other their whole careers because they went 1-2. That's just how it goes. But yeah, man, Houston's looking like they made out like bandits. They didn't have to get the first pick in the draft. They still got the guy they wanted. They went back up and got the other guy that they wanted that they would have taken if they had the first pick in the draft. And now they look good. Meanwhile, the Panthers, everything is looking all bad, bro. I don't know. I'm scared for my Panthers because these are the type of moves that set franchises back a long time. Obviously, it's too early, but I'm hoping Bryce Young turns it around. But I don't think they gave him a good opportunity to be successful, in my opinion. But we'll see. All right. Speaking of young quarterbacks that are struggling, Justin Fields had a great game fantasy wise, and I had him on my fantasy team. Still lost, but that's okay. Just like Justin Fields still lost 14 straight, going back to last year. Denver's defense has to be the worst defense of all time because this Bears offense couldn't even get first downs, let alone touchdowns, and they lit it up the Denver defense on Sunday. And yet they still lost. They're up by 21 to an 0-3 Denver team. I don't know. And what's really bad is if the draft were to happen on Thursday, they would have the number one and number two pick because of the aforementioned Panthers. So if that happens, you would have to think they move on from Justin Fields, correct? Ugh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't think they're using him right. I think what he did now, granted, Zach Wilson also played well on Sunday against the Chiefs, so that's fair. Every dog has his day. A broken clock is right twice a day. But I don't know if Justin Fields has shown them enough to know that he's their guy going forward. I still think he can play. I still think, and again, I don't trust Ohio State quarterback, so I would never draft one. until they've proven that they can play at the NFL level. But I still think that with his athleticism, there's got to be a system or a team out there that can utilize him better than what the Bears are doing. Yeah, I don't know if you're Chicago. I wonder if it gets close to the trading deadline, do you just trade him then? Like, do you just throw up the white flag and say, you know what, we want to make sure we have the number one pick in the draft and get Caleb Williams. We're gonna trade this guy, get even more assets for him. Because let's just say he continues to play. Let's just say he continues to play decently, but they're still losing. Remember, he finished the year pretty well last year. They still lost 8 straight because they didn't have anything around him. If he continues to play better and they're still losing, I wonder if they make the decision to trade him then instead of waiting for the offseason to ensure that they don't win another game and get Caleb Williams. That's an interesting thing. Obviously, you don't want to go 0-17 because everybody will be fired, I would hope. But if you're only going to win 1 or 2 games anyway, might as well trade this guy to ensure that you win 1 or 2 games, only 1 or 2 games, and then get some assets for him. And it's funny, Mike Greenberg, I promise you, I made this slide before Mike Greenberg said what he said. But again, young quarterbacks just not playing well. Desmond Ridder. I watched that game in London, both the Toy Story version and the regular version. He's not good, or he's not playing well. And I didn't even think of Justin Fields to Atlanta until Mike Greenberg said it. And I thought to myself, that would be interesting. Like I said, it's just coincidence that I made the slides like this. But yeah, if you're Atlanta, would you do something like that? I think I would, especially the way they want to use the run game, using his athleticism. I'll be crazy. He can throw the deep ball, which allows you for Drake London and Kyle Pitts to go off. You have a absolute stud in Bijan Robinson. Yeah, I don't know that I do kind of like that, but also if you're Arthur Smith, do you? Because again, I made this before the Justin Fields trade to Atlanta part of this was even a thing. If you're Arthur Smith, and again, we're talking about coaching, do you got to change your philosophy up a little bit more to get your playmakers involved? Because what is the point of drafting Drake London, I believe, 9th overall, drafting Kyle Pitts 4th overall, drafting Bijan Robinson 7th overall, if you're not going to utilize them the right way? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of having them? I know you want to run the ball. I know you want to utilize the run game and stuff like that, but there's a way you can do both. There's a way you can do both without hurting your playmakers' abilities to make plays, which ultimately helps your team win games. And yeah, if you're the Falcons, are you comfortable moving on from Ridder? It's only his 2nd year, but he's only a 3rd-round pick, so you're not like tied to him. And there's some quarterbacks that might be on the market. Kirk Cousins, Zach Wilson sucks. Justin Fields. I really do like that Justin Fields scenario. It just depends on what it would cost to get him. But yeah, I don't know. That's the question in Atlanta. It's a good question to have, I guess, because again, they could be a very scary offense. They got to get a better offensive system, and they got to get a better quarterback for sure. All right, week 5, Ravens and Steelers, still the best rivalry in football. Now that Kenny Pickett seems to be 100% healthy, I feel better about that game. This again, we got to win. You win, despite everything that happened. Just if you win that game, you're still in first place going into your bye. You'll feel good about yourself. Jaguars and Bills should be another fun one. I hope they do a Toy Story thing again. That was cute. I want to watch that again. Jets and Broncos. even though the Jets aren't who we thought they were going to be, that's still it's funny now that they both are horrible. This game is even more it's entertaining to me because now Denver has a real chance to win. But yeah, ever since Sean Payton was talking all that trash, we've been looking for week 5 just for this game. And like I said, now that both teams are kind of not even good, this should be even more fun. Chiefs and Vikings should also be fun, a shootout, if you will. Please throw it to Jordan Addison. That'll be appreciated. And then Cowboys and 49ers. Cowboys looking good this year, but the 49ers look like the best team in football right now. That's gonna be a great game. It's Sunday Night Football. Niners have ended the Cowboys season the last 2 years. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Looking forward to that one for sure. Like I said, Charles will talk his Giants next week, probably. I forget who they play this week. Miami, I think. Yeah, I don't know. But hopefully they get a win, so he could be happy when he's on the pod. If not, we might get another epic rant like the first one. Who knows? Either way, it'll be great entertainment for us. But that's the video. Appreciate you. I'm Never for Brett Me. You can find me at NEVA_4BRETT_ME on Instagram and Twitter. Charles is at Not to Chuck D on all the socials. We are the_dope blog on Instagram and Threads, the dope blog, all one word on Twitter. We're www.the dope.blog. And because you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, and join us next time as we continue to discuss other people's excellence. Deuces.